Alright guys, this is going to be my first video for my 1974 13-foot sourpuss Boston whaler restoration. This is how I bought it. Lots of work to do here. We got a 1998 Yamaha C40. We're going to work on that today. Graduated school 2 days ago, so now straight on to a new project. Some of the things we're going to tackle first, you see here in the front, you can see all the way through here. This is where the bow eye no longer is here. You can see all the way through there. This foam here is actually quite dry, so we're going to get tackling that so that the boat will stay on the trailer. Lots of work to do here. Hoping to do a full restoration over the next year. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so what we're gonna start with today is replacement of the water pump. You just buy this online. I'm sure this is not OEM, but what happens is this little rubber piece in the motor here gets bent, and last time we ran it out of the water it really wasn't peeing very well, so we're gonna have to take the lower unit off today and replace it with this. You can just buy the impeller, but I decided to replace the housing and everything. It seemed quite simple, so I guess we'll see. So we got our first strip bolt here. That is inevitable. See what I've done is just absolutely turned on it right there. That's gonna be a joy to get out. The rest of these are coming right out. This one you just can't fit the socket head here without taking this off, so we'll see. Everything's about the right tools, guys. Once I got one of these, hit it with a mallet, now it's moving just fine. So we're on our way. Gonna be a lot of uphill battles with the tools on this project. All right, so for those of you who've been watching me do this with the engine straight up and down, you know that at some point I was gonna have to lift the engine. So now I've gone and figured out that I need to turn this screw, but if you look at that screw, it is absolutely so stripped out. And so now I knew at some point I was gonna have to whip out the dental tools. I've got my burr kit here, and what I've done is I've put this little round burr in my Dremel, and what I'm gonna try to do, I've done it once before, is just to give this a go here and make it maybe a little bit deeper, the thread there, so that my screwdriver will actually tighten in it. We'll see what happens. All right, here's an update. This is where we are. We're kind of stuck. So the drive shaft here is much longer than this space we got here, so I can't get it off to work on it because this daggum bolt right here is so daggum stripped. And inevitably, when you buy a project, you buy someone else's work. So here we are, just kind of stuck. The trim motor needs to be replaced. Anyway, look at that thing. And so I can't get this thing to tilt up unless you turn this, release the hydraulic pressure so that I can lift it by hand, which won't be that heavy. So I've drilled it out a little bit. I'm afraid to keep drilling it because eventually, you know, it's just gonna shear off. And I have no idea what's gonna happen when I take it out. So exciting stuff. If this is an omen to how the whole project's gonna go, we're gonna... Okay, update on this bolt. I have absolutely destroyed it with my Dremel. And look what it has done to this impact driver. Why is it so stuck in there? Why? I'm gonna have to drill it out. I know it. All right, so we got the engine tilted up so I can finally work on the lower unit here. We're gonna replace the water pump, kind of clean everything up, put some grease in there, see how it goes. What I did was I just charged the battery, but had to get a battery charger, tilted it up. Tilt motor still works, but I'm gonna look up how to replace it. It looks not very good. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We're gonna take this whole piece off here, and you see my marine grease over there. All right, got the lower unit off. This is what we're gonna replace today. I just wanted to give you a closer look. Pretty gunked up here. We're gonna clean all this out. Not too bad, but we're gonna put some grease on this. And these are our new parts here. That's gonna be a big difference. All right, I'll keep you updated. All right, so I've got the old housing off. Still looks fine, but we're gonna replace it anyway. Outside is a little rough, but this is the problem. This is why it wasn't peeing. You can see how it's good and bent. And let me grab the new one. See, the new one is just completely straight. So obviously this wasn't getting very much traction inside the housing, and therefore wasn't spinning any water up into the engine. So we got this new housing. I've just cleaned all this as best I could. Toothbrush fits in there. This rubber piece came out of right here, and it looks like maybe this was like an anode. I don't know, I'll have to look it up and order something for that spot. I'm just gonna leave it right now because I think this would just fall down in there, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna put a little grease here, maybe a little bit here, and yep. All right, so this is what it looks like. We've got everything as cleaned out as it's gonna get. This is all on here. Gonna put a little more grease here. This is all the old stuff. Yep, we'll slide it back up in there.